Hi everyone, this is Dr. Crystal Lee here to talk to you about fear of failure. So one of the parents in the group asked me to address this issue, and unfortunately usually fear of failure is related to something a little deeper, something that can't really be addressed in a self-help type video like this is. So I really would encourage someone with deep-seated fear of failure to talk with a therapist and see what is underneath that and what's holding you back. But that's not a very satisfying answer, so I'm going to give you 3 things that you can try that will help maybe on the surface level with this fear of failure. So one is cultivating a growth mindset. So you've probably heard me talk about this a lot, fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So a fixed mindset means you believe that intelligence is this fixed thing that you're born with, whereas a growth mindset is where you actually learn from experience and grow from experience and actually improve your intelligence or circumstances or skills based on trying things. So people with fixed mindsets really avoid challenging things or challenging tasks, because if they don't do well, that means they're deficient in some way. But someone with a growth mindset does something challenging because they actually see it as a way to learn and grow. And if the outcome isn't positive, that's okay because they learned something from it. So by cultivating this growth mindset, fear of failure really becomes less of an issue, because every opportunity that you're failing at is actually a chance for you to grow and learn and become a better version of yourself. So that's one thing, cultivating a growth mindset. So a second thing is usually when people are afraid of doing something, not usually, sometimes when people are afraid of doing something, it's because it's overwhelming. The big goal is to get this job, but that feels really overwhelming and too far away and like too much work. So something that helps is breaking down that goal into smaller goals and then teeny tiny little bite-sized tasks. It sounds maybe a little simple, but this actually really, really works. I do it with my clients a lot, and it's really helpful. So you take your big goal and you break it down into shorter term goals, and then you take those shorter term goals and you break those down even further into bite-sized tasks, like really simple tasks, something super easy that you can do in a few minutes or a half hour or something, so it's not so overwhelming. So for example, if you take this big goal of getting that dream job, some short-term goals might be, okay, I need to actually research this place to see what they want in a candidate, and then I need to brush up on my job interviewing skills, and I need to write a resume and da da da. But those are still overwhelming a little bit. They're, decent sized chunk of work, so you break it down even further. So, for example, take the resume thing. You break that down even further, like, okay, first I need to write a education section. Then I need to write a experience section, but oh, that's so overwhelming still. So I'm going to break down my experience section into each and every job. So first I'm going to write about this job, then I'm going to write about that job, and it becomes these teeny tiny little tasks that you can knock out relatively easily, and it doesn't feel scary or overwhelming. It's like, okay, I can sit down and write about this job for 10 minutes, whatever, that's fine. And you can do as many of those tasks as you want in a day, or you just do one a day. But the real the real task is actually doing something every day, no matter how small, that moves you towards your goal. And by writing it down and having it broken down in that way, you actually can concretely see the progress that you're making, and it makes it a little less overwhelming in some ways. So that's the second tip. So, breaking things down into bite-sized pieces. So the third suggestion is a little, I don't know, people might find this funny, but it's actually practicing to fail. So in some ways this works because it desensitizes you to failure. You fail over and over and over again, and then you realize it's not that big of a deal. You find out like, oh, okay, I can survive or tolerate this feeling or this distress that happens when I quote unquote fail. Um, but also, it reframes failure. So every time you don't do well, it becomes a success. So you are doing well. It's this weird paradox, but it actually works in some ways. So you go out and you aim to fail. So if someone is, overwhelmed about job interviewing, go out and just say, like, I'm gonna totally bomb this job interview, and that's great. And going in with that kind of goal in mind, not like totally being a jerk, doing what you need to do for the job interview, but if the outcome isn't great, it's like, that's a success. Okay, great. And if you have your growth mindset, it's like, what can I learn from this experience? So those are my 3 tips to address fear of failure. 1, cultivating a growth mindset. 2, breaking things down into teeny tiny bite-sized pieces. And 3, actually practicing how to fail and aiming to fail. Let me know what you think down in the comments and ask me any questions. All right, thanks. Bye.